The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmers insurance agent located 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by KGTV, Channel 10 in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Commission meeting, August 14th, 2019.
I know, but it wasn't on that they just put
We got three of them, right? I thought that was just given for,
Well, wasn't good to be.
Since we got three, we're gonna start to get started. We're gonna start like. Good morning. For the record, we've got two commissioners that are running a little late. We're gonna go ahead and start the meeting. And today's meeting is the regular county commission meeting for August the 14th. So if you all please stand and join us in the pledge. And Mike, why don't you lead us in the pledge?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, if you have a cell phone, please silence it. As is tradition for our first part of our meeting, we allow 1 minute for meditation, prayer, or whatever you'd like. So for the first minute, we'll go ahead and take that right now before we do public comment. Okay, we're going to start the regular meeting with what is always the case, public comment. Today we have many, many items on our list, many. So public comment will be strictly adhered to for the 3 minutes. What I ask when we have this many is if you have public comment and somebody is speaking before you, if they're addressing the same thing, when you get up for your turn, we won't turn anybody down, just don't be repetitious because we have many, many items on here. So there's going to be several public comments on several different issues. That being said, we'll address also our, we have 3 or 4 presentations that we're going to be given to us. Sometimes they get really lengthy. We're going to ask each one of those that they come up to try to hold them to 15 minutes or less, whatever we can do. So in the meantime, as we start, we're going to go ahead and open the meeting with public comment. We will not deny anybody the right to speak. That will not happen. We will strictly adhere to the 3 minutes as close as we can. Again, maybe run a little over, but we're trying to stay as close to it as possible to keep this meeting as fluent as we can. So, that being said, I'll open the meeting with public comment. Is there any public comment? Please come forward, state your name for the record.
Chairman, members of the commission, Kyle Roe-Rankin with the Great Basin Water Network. Good to see everyone again, and here to speak on an issue that I know we can all agree on, stopping the Las Vegas pipeline from destroying White Pine County. A couple things. Our attorney is going to be out here in October, Simeon Herskovitz, and we want him to come and address the commission. We're going to work on that, and then we want to set up a town hall style meeting, and this will be the month that precedes the oral arguments for our latest battle in district court. And so I think it's a great opportunity to really mobilize the community and get everybody up to speed on what's happening. So I'll be working with Nicole and others in the community to help, kind of help get that in motion. And lastly, I had a quick correspondence with the district attorney last week about a new piece of federal legislation that is in the drafting process coming out of Clark County, but it is a direct attack on White Pine County. And it is a complete end-around effort in order to flout our success that we have had in federal court over the years. And so I printed out just copies of the section in question, and I'm happy to provide more information. But you'll see here, it's highlighted in yellow. This is a reference to the EIS that was done years ago, and they're trying to exempt it from further administrative and judicial review. So I just wanted to say that we're on top of this, we're gonna be fighting it, and I just wanted to make you all aware that, this is happening, and I just wanted to double check that no one from Clark County has reached out to anyone up here about that. That's a fair assessment. Okay.
Do you have a tentative date for when Simeon's gonna be in October?
Yeah, I think it's October 9th.
The first meeting date in October.
Okay.
So,
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so
thank
much,
you,
Al.
and I'm just
And I
gonna,
think that we filed against, I think the county back then filed against BLM in regards to the EIS that they had done.
Yeah, we had a federal lawsuit that we actually
Yeah.
succeeded in.
that's right, and this
Yeah.
is just a complete end run on our success that we've had
And I
here.
don't know, for those that don't know, I think that also when those agreements and stuff were made way back in the beginning, there was what they call stipulated agreement, to where some of the information did not come forward. There was what's called a stipulated agreement that was done for some of the federal entities.
Okay, we'll stick to public comment, and we'll address those as the time comes when Simeon's here. This is public comment, not debate time, so we'll adhere strictly to public comment. Please come forward, state your names.
I'm Gretchen Durbridge. I just wanted to remind everybody that every elected official here has received a sponsor letter for the J. Durbridge Memorial Run and Walk and Fun Day, which is going to be taking place on the 24th. I have yet to receive any donations or sponsorships from the elected officials in this room, except for Scott Henroyd, which we appreciate very much. This is a event that is going to be raising money for White Pine County cancer patients and Lazarus Cancer Foundation. So I would really appreciate your guys' support down at the park on the 24th. And if you would like to do a monetary donation, that would be wonderful to show your support to the county. I also have a concern about what I've heard about the new helipad that's going to be coming in. And although I'm excited about expanding services in our rural community, I have a question about the impact that a helipad is going to be taking on Steptoe Park. So I would like the commission to consider that carefully on having such an intrusive, that from what I heard, if it's what I understand, running like ambulance runs with a helicopter out of there. So that's concerning to me. So I just would hope that the commission would carefully examine the impact that new service would have on the park and the people who use it. So anyone who would like to make a donation though to the Memorial Run, you may put a check for Nevada Bank and Trust, and they have the account all set up. So, or you can call me directly, and I would be happy to come and collect the checks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please come forward, state your name.
Yeah, Richard, was Nicole gonna read this letter into the record right now?
I can do it right now?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to speak after.
Okay.
so we'll let her read all the letters she's got pertaining to this subject, and then you'll still be allowed your public comment.
Yeah, I would like to after she reads the.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait a minute, should I go for other public comment, or do you wanna read these right now? What do you wanna do? Let's read
It's
the
up to
letter.
you. Highway 318 between Highway 850, 875, also known as Preston Loop to Lund. For the reasons listed below, we feel that NDOT needs to address these serious safety problems. Number one, there are 32 driveways on the 7-mile stretch between Preston and Lund. 2 of the driveways at the Preston Truck Center are the most active for the next 100 miles south and 35 miles heading north. There are several county road entrances and residential driveways which account for about 20 of those driveways. The Preston Truck Center was built in 1981, with the gas station being the first structure. 55 miles per hour was the speed limit, and the traffic count was 1 vehicle for every 30 minutes. Today, the traffic count has increased dramatically to 58.33 cars per hour, to the point that it's not unusual to have 15 cars and trucks bunched together, going 70 miles per hour, and passing at 80 miles per hour in front of the truck stop. You don't have to wait long before someone has a close call coming into the truck stop. Over the years, we've had several accidents, some severe and 1 fatality a few years ago. Local residents are faced with a very stressful and sometimes dangerous situation approaching their driveways. Number 2, the half mile coming from the west changes from the double line to a broken line passing lane to a double line no pass zone right at the west entrance to the Preston Truck Center. While going 70 miles per hour, it is impossible to legally pass in that short of a distance. The striping has not been changed since the 55 mile per hour limit was put in place in 1987. Once we witnessed trucks passing other trucks often we witness trucks passing other trucks going 80 miles per hour in front of both driveways. Slow-moving RVs and trailers entering or exiting the truck stop find themselves in a dangerous situation many times, with trucks refusing to slow down and lay on their horn as they pass by. Traffic traveling south have no warnings as they are approaching the busiest driveways for the next 100 miles and may encounter slow-moving traffic moving both directions. Number 3, deer have become a real issue between Preston and Lund. I've been told there are well over 100 deer killed in that 7-mile stretch. Here are some suggestions on how to help solve the safety problems we have discussed. Lower the speed limit to 45 miles per hour from Preston Truck Stop to Lund. Remark the lane striping starting west of the truck stop to a no passing zone at the south end of the truck stop and other designated areas heading south. Proper signage should be installed warning travelers about busy driveways and slow-moving traffic, etc., as well as signs warning of the deer crossing between Preston and Lund also need to be put in place. In conclusion, we feel that we have issues that need to be addressed promptly for the public's safety. I was told 3 years ago that they would start a traffic study by the former Ely supervisor. This did not happen. The local residents are in total support to get something done. I have also discussed this with several NHPs and they all agree that we need to address these issues. Thank you for your cooperation, Gary Lane. And he asked me to read also a letter from the County Commission to NDOT that was sent on September 4th of last year. To whom it may concern, the White Pine County Board of Commissioners is writing this letter as an urgent request to you, the Nevada Department of Transportation, to address our concerns over a section of Highway 318 near Lane's Truck Stop in Preston, Nevada. Our Commissioner Shane Bybee has been in frequent contact with Lee Bonner at the Ely branch of NDOT since December of 2017 regarding this very issue. This concern has been voiced during the NDOT presentation in Ely earlier this year, and Assemblyman John Ellison is also behind our efforts to get you to find a solution to this very concerning problem. For almost 1 year, residents from Preston and Lund, Nevada have come to us expressing their same concerns over this stretch of highway that lies in front of Lane's Truck Stop and extends into the farming and residential districts of Lund. The speed limit is 70 miles per hour on this 2-lane highway that semi-trucks have to turn onto to get into the truck stop. These lanes are no passing, but that is not always adhered to. The road between Lanes and Lund is intersected in numerous locations with county and private roads accessed by ranchers and residents of the area, by four-wheelers, horses, and farm equipment. Recently, there has been one fatality and dozens of near misses on this section. What this board and the concerned residents are requesting is NDOT to expand the road in front of Lane's truck stop, to widen the shoulders and create a center turning lane to allow semi-trucks and other vehicles to turn into the stop without impeding traffic coming from behind. Also, we are requesting a reduced speed limit at 45 miles per hour, beginning before the turn to Preston and remaining at 45 until you get to the 35 mile per hour zone as you enter into the town of Lund. We feel that this is the best way to keep travelers safe on that section of Highway 318 in White Pine County. Your urgent attention to this issue is requested. Thank you for your time. Respectfully, Richard Howe, Commission Chairman.
Okay. Any other matters concerning this right now?
No.
Okay. We will now invite you to come forward, Gary,
Okay,
and state your name for the record.
I'm Gary Lane. The letter pretty much addresses most of the issues. And my question is when the car count doesn't really change from the truck stop or Preston to Hyco. Yet Hyco has 45 mile an hour speed limit, and if it was based on the car count, that should have never happened. So it was a safety issue. And this is what I would like to impress on the commission. This is a real safety issue. It became kind of personal to me when the widow of Joe Crack, Terry Crack, came and put a little memorial there at the truck stop because the highway department would not allow her to put it on the highway. And the other guy that was there, they came a year after his death, okay? The other guy, Don Rathburn, he was there also, and Terry's two kids. So that kind of put a personal, it became personal at that point. And then I almost saw my wife get ran over last February. It was so close, and it happens all the time. And it shouldn't be based on car count, it should be based on safety. And I'll give another example. Out there in Sunnyside, they've done all kinds of work to make sure that you don't have a situation where somebody's gonna, get ran off the road. I think there needs to be some shoulder work. A couple weeks ago, Don McKenzie had an issue, it was a single car issue, but it was right past the truck stop, and the shoulders are just steep. And when you go off the shoulder, you're gonna flip your outfit. So you have a choice to make. When you're coming to like a car coming down the hill or something, especially if you're coming from the south. I see it all the time. Every day we see something and they pass there all the time. I mean, they have no regard for the double line. And you just hold your breath a lot of times. I had one coming up on me the other day, and another car was gonna pass that guy. And he just whipped right out in front of him. They don't slow down. So part of the solution is the shoulder work, the lines, the speed limit, it all comes together. You've gotta have some guidelines, which would be the speed limit, and then you need law enforcement. I was told in Alamo, they've got like 6 highway patrolmen, and so they've got that covered. So I guess my question to the Department of Transportation, why do they get it and we don't? Why did they get all the safety concerns taken care of? They have a speed limit and everything else that's going on there, which greatly reduces the accident count. Right out of McGill, they're going 60 miles an hour, but there's turnouts and there's all kinds of places that, like if you're coming up to a busy driveway, there's a right-hand turnout. And then they did the road, I'll finish with this, they did the road construction where it's possible, I know for a fact, because it happened to me last year, that you can, there was a truck, car started to pass, and we went three wide, and I never went off the highway. It was pretty scary. I mean, we were almost touching mirrors. But there's gonna be another bad accident. There's been several bad accidents. So I don't know. I guess talking to one of my neighbors at Fairville, And his question to me was, Gary, why won't they do anything? And I thought it was gonna be a pretty simple situation 4 years ago, but I'm finding out, I think it's politics.
Well, thanks for your comment. If you'll stick around, NDOT is here to address. A lot of these are sitting right there, and I think you'll get some input, and you'll also be able to stand up, go outside and speak to them directly, I believe. They'll answer some questions for you. But we're here, we did issue this letter. We hear what you're saying, and DOT is here to answer some of the stuff, and we appreciate that. So, they're right here, Mr. Bonner and Mr.
Okay, thank you.
But thank you for your comments, and we'll continue on with public comment. Any more public comment, please come forward and state your name. Please do.
My name's Andy Bailey with Cannon Ranches down at Lund, and the issues, I'm just, Gary's pretty well covered them. But we've been involved, we've had 2 vehicles run through our main entrance due to speed in the last 6 months. My wife and I live on one side, the other ranch entrance, main ranch is on the other side. We don't even turn off the road on our side because of the number of people that are just in trucks flying by there. We have to go into the ranch to where we can come around and get a better view of the highway. We also live in Hyco in the winter, so we're aware of what the 45-mile-an-hour speed limit is done for there in terms of cutting down on the accidents. And they do have a strong law enforcement presence down there, both the sheriff's department and highway patrol. But it's the same people that come through here, the same trucks. We get it down there too. And I don't know, it's probably a 4 or 5 mile stretch of road that they had made at 45 mile per hour for the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. And it's had a real impact on the number of accidents, but also the severity. When there is one, it's been much less. So I would like to support a consideration for lowering the speed limit in this area, because the truck traffic and RVs and stuff, they just get bunched up, and it's a very dangerous situation out there. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Any other public comment? Please come forward, John. I know.
For the record, I'm Assemblyman John Ellison. Good morning. It's good to see you guys here today. Lori, I'm glad you're here helping these guys out. So, one of the things that I know that I just found out that there was a traffic count done in 2018, and I'm hoping when NDOT gets up here, maybe we can get another traffic count. But I think with the amount of trucks now that is going through to Idaho, and the amount of traffic is increasing dramatically, I think that's going to be one of the issues. And I know when you guys wrote that letter, is it made this speed limit as a priority. So I'm hoping you'll put that on your priority list and take a look at that to see if we could slow this traffic down by speed limit. And I think that's the only thing we're going to be able to do. Because right now, to try to get a passing lane, it'd be so costly. At least if we can get some kind of speed limit down there, drop between maybe Preston and a little ways down, that might stop some of this near misses. And if you go down there lately, you'll see the black marks everywhere. But I did meet with NDOT here about a couple weeks ago and told them my concerns. Then after this last wreck, I thought it'd be good to be here and bring it up again. But I hope you'll put this on your priority list, is at least slowing that traffic down in that area.
I think, and I'm just gonna make one quick comment to you. I think in listening to everything, the signs and that stuff everywhere are good. The reason Austin, Eureka, Ash Springs get it is law enforcement. So you're not just to address, I'm asking you not just to address NDOT, but maybe to get the NHP to go down there. Because like any other town I travel in, you know you're gonna get a ticket if you go through there. So if there's some law enforcement and there's some tickets written, it will certainly get around to all the truckers and all around. And I do the same thing when I get into Austin, Eureka. Believe me, I'm slamming on the brakes because that cop is sitting right there, so if you have any influence in it besides NDOT, I think NHP would be another avenue that you could probably, request. We have some hires going here to start really policing that particular area. That's all I'll say on
Mr. Chairman,
that.
one of the other things is the number of officers we have. We have less than what they have down in Alamo, but they're covering our entire county. I mean, McGill has the same problem up there as well, you know, with them blowing through town at 70, so.
That's kind of addressing highway patrol more
Yeah,
so they can.
I mean, it's just, we could use another position easily.
Okay.
I will, when I leave here, I will call the director of highway patrol and see if I can get them to add that to that list.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. We're still open for public comment on any issue that we have today. Is there anybody here that would like to speak about anything that we're going to be addressing here this morning? Please come forward. We're here to listen to you. George?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm glad you're here to listen.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I read in the newspaper that the county is attempting to advertise and possibly hire a grant writer. I'm disappointed in the commission in that you give out raises of 15 to 25% to some departments because they are capable and successful in writing grants, yet you're hiring individuals who aren't qualified for some positions. They can't write grants, can't do budgets. In the past, let me remind you, you've terminated personnel in leadership for failure to come through, didn't have the qualifications. Now you appear to hire someone to fill in the gap. You're costing the taxpayer thousands of dollars for nothing. You need to rethink your thinking. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda item 1F1, you're to consider CDBG grant funding for the next year. I'm not sure if I'm going to be here, but I would like you to consider a heating system for the former Kennecott Controller Building in McGill. That building is now owned by a group of veterans, Veterans Initiative. They're trying to create a school to teach disabled veterans certain skills. The building is in good shape, it just needs a heating system. I would ask that you consider that. Mr. Chairman, on your agenda item 2CB-5, you're to consider changing the terms of the MedX lease contract for Yellen Field from 20 years to 50 years. The 20-year lease needs to stay in place. Economics change within 50 years, and so does the cost of providing services at Yellen Field. They need to step up to the plate for that. Locking in a 50-year rate is nice for someone, but not for the county. Mr. Chairman, it's been months since I've asked for a proper amplified speaker system for those with hearing disabilities. You've yet to put anything in place. I want to remind you, you did have a system that needs to be dug out of the closet and brought forward. Mr. Chairman, I've not seen any action by former Commissioners McKenzie in curing that concrete sidewalk that doesn't meet code. Also, there's yet to be any public information coming forward from Mr. Vivey in regards to the tax track rental.
We've addressed those.
We need to account for the money, or someone needs to resign, Mr. Chairman.
No.
When you take on a
George, we've addressed this.
responsibility,
We've addressed it, so we'll take
give me the answer. Give it to me in writing. You haven't given me anything, sir.
Go on.
Mr. Chairman, the community choir building is in disrepair.
Again, we've addressed this, George.
Did you address the flap of roofing material that's coming forward, sir, may end up
George.
in State Highway?
We've addressed it time after time. We're
Give
not
it to
being
me in writing.
repetitious here. We're not being repetitious. We appreciate your comments.
Mr. Chairman, the county has an economic development person on board. I've yet to see another update. I'd like to see that. What are we paying for? Mr. Chairman, I want to remind you of some issues on the state highway changes coming on Gray Basin. Some of the accesses coming off of city streets do not meet minimum code. That needs to be addressed before the state does their job. A lot of those entrances are permitted. We need to check to see if they meet that permit requirement. If
Okay,
not, it needs to be addressed.
Your 3 minutes are up, but you'll be hearing from NDOT here very shortly, and you can address them. And there'll be some
City
public comment.
accesses are not their job. It's the
State
county
highway.
and the city.
George, thank you for your comments. Okay, I'm gonna ask for public comment on anything we're going to be addressing today. Please come forward from the back there. Okay, Carol?
Carol McKenzie, for the record. I wasn't going to speak today, but I have to support Gary Lane in his concerns. I travel that road a lot, coming back and forth from London to Ely, and we definitely need some reduced traffic signs out there, and we definitely need some exit lanes along the road, because we've come off close to major disasters. And it's kind of hard when you drive up and your son's sitting there waiting for the ambulance and you're the ambulance driver, so. And it had nothing to do really with anything that Gary's concerned about, but we do need some traffic control there. And to me, the logical thing to do would be put some exit turn lanes on that. Anyway, I'm in full support of Gary's concerns.
Thank you. Any other public comment on today's items that we have on the agenda? We have a full plate today, so we're welcoming any public comment. Anybody who wants to speak, come forward. I'll ask one more time before I close public comment and go into the fire commission. I'll ask for public comment one more time. Hearing none and seeing none, we will close the public comment period. There won't be any more public comment until the end of each session or the end of the meeting. So forever hold your peace. Okay, so that being said, public comment being over, we're gonna move into page 2. Item A, it was the 8:30 Fire Commission meeting. Item 1, and we're gonna have public comment on the Fire Commission meeting. Is there any public comment on the Fire Commission meeting before we go into it? Anyone? Last call, anyone? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we'll move forward. Item 1, discussion, update on the fire district progress. Ralph McClintock, interim fire district administrative coordinator, and Ross Rivera, Ely City Fire Chief. Please come forward.
Good morning, Commissioners. I went around really happy seats. Actually, at this point, I don't have a whole lot to report. I've been out of town celebrating the 40th anniversary with my wife, so didn't get a whole lot done while I was in Alaska. But our pagers are getting programmed and passed out now. Radios have been received from BLM, and we're waiting now for antennas for them. If they don't come up with them soon, we'll just go purchase them, and that'll work out. Most of the guys, the departments are doing well. We're making progress. I think they're learning to take care of themselves, and it's gonna be a good thing. And that being said, this is probably my last report to you, because you've hired Brett to take over. So I'd like to thank you for having faith in me to do this job. And also I'd like to thank Elizabeth and her staff, because they were awesome, and they made this job easy for me, and I really appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate you.
And
what you stepped into was really good.
I probably don't need to say it, but I want you to know, you have some amazing people out there for your volunteers. They're passionate, they work hard, they've recovered, and they're moving along fine. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ralph.
Wait just a second.
Go ahead.
Aren't you staying for like the next month or so to
Oh,
help
until
with
he
the
doesn't need me,
transition?
yeah, but he's gonna be taking this part over.
Okay,
So you may or may not see me.
okay.
Sorry I didn't put anything in writing, but it wasn't.
It's all right, it's all right.
You can have this if you'd like. but-
No, it's fine.
All right, and so that's how it is now. We are making progress. I've been working with Brett for a few days now. He's coming along fine. We're gonna do good. I think everything's going well. Just take care of those people and they'll take care of you. And they all do appreciate the support you've been giving them since the change. It was a little tough for them in the beginning, but they're moving along well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ralph. Okay, item 2 is discussion of possible action, the approval of the monthly financial reports for July 2019.
Thank you. You have the reports in your packet.
I move to approve.
All right, have a motion to approve. Have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve, and, motion by Travis, a second by Lori. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous. Item 3, discussion, update, possible direction on the June 30th, 2019 financial status of the White Pine County Fire Protection District, including revised estimate of potential available funds to meet the needs requests of the district fire station. Elizabeth again.
Thank you. I put this in, on the agenda just to give information to the fire commission on, different things that have been coming up in the town council meetings. And one of them, it has to do with budgets and how do we estimate what will be available for appropriation in this fiscal year as far as, money to address the needs in the outlying areas. I cited relevant NRS, and I'll allow you to do that for yourself. And I did an analysis on what I believe at this time, when I close the books down, I still have several more weeks before I'm allowed to do that, but at this time, I believe we will have an available amount of a little over 300,000 that we can appropriate in this fiscal year to address the needs of the outlying areas. That's definitely not gonna get us everything we need, but it can get us started down the road to addressing concerns.
I had a question on that. And that's how the fire district budget, correct?
That's the fire district
Now,
budget.
a lot of those buildings are county owned, especially like, for example, Station One's a county owned building, right?
No, Station One is a county-owned building. Every other building within the fire district is, owned by the fire district.
Titled in the fire district.
Yes,
Okay. I guess that was my answer.
okay.
Thank you. And if there's any other commissioner, I asked Elizabeth to do that so that we're all on the same page. When we went to these outlying areas, it was sometimes, oh, we have 1.5 million, 5 million, 6, but so we can all understand, and thank you for that. We know we have up to about 300,000 right now, that's what we have. We don't have 1 million something, we have 300,000. So as we talk to the outlying areas, we don't want to, one commissioner say one another. We know what we have, and that's why I appreciate what you did. We have 300,000 that we can spend. It isn't a lot of money, but that's what we have available currently for the 2019 budget. Am I correct?
This fiscal year.
This
Yeah,
fiscal year.
This fiscal year. So we'll be addressing fire district needs and funds as we go into the next budget year.
And correct, Elizabeth, I see the ending fund balance is 2.3 million, and we have, and just going into next fiscal year, we have to keep $1 million of that for catastrophic loss, right?
Correct,
So we could potentially have 1.3 to appropriate next year,
yes.
thereabouts.
Thereabouts.
2020.
In FY 2021. We're in FY 2020 right now.
So that was the clarification I think we needed, and I appreciate that. Everybody okay with it?
Yep.
Everybody okay? Shane?
Yep, understood.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth.
Mhm.
So that one was just a discussion update, so we'll move on. Item 4, again, discussion for possible action, approval to purchase Stryker power load systems for ambulance in Lund, McGill, and Baker at a cost of $27,742.95 each, with an estimated installation cost of $1,800 per ambulance, for a total estimated cost of $88,628.85. Purchase will require resolution to appropriate a portion of the unbudgeted fund balance, as this is not a budgeted item for the fire district. Elizabeth?
I would coordinate this with the new fire chief to ensure that we are identifying the correct ambulances. We have heard this time and time again from our outlying areas, we need assistance, that we have, our volunteers can't necessarily lift these gurneys into the ambulances. These are the power lift systems that came up in those meetings. It would require appropriation of a portion of that 300,000. These are not budgeted this year.
Well, I think this is a no-brainer, because if they can't lift them in the ambulance, the apparatus, the buildings, they're irrelevant, so I move that we approve this.
Okay,
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, pass unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 5, discussion for possible action, the approval to renew the ProCare Services Agreement with Stryker for a 1-year period to provide maintenance service on 1 power load system and 6 power load cots for a total amount of $9,499. Elizabeth?
This is just the annual agreement that is for maintenance and repair of our power cots and the 1 power load system that we do have. And this is a budgeted item in the fire district budget. I just need to have the agreement approved so we can go ahead and get it paid for.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Travis, second by Lori. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, pass unanimous. Item 6, Discussion for possible action, the approval of budget transfers within and between functions or programs within a fund that do not increase the total appropriation of the fund or adjust for approved grants/agency funds. Elizabeth.
Thank you, and this is just your standard, budget report, and, nothing of grave consequence there, just.
Move to approve.
Motion by Travis,
Second.
second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passed unanimous. Item 7, discussion for possible action. Approval to direct the fire district chief to proceed and/or continue with addressing the needs of the Baker Volunteer Fire Department put forth at the special joint fire commission/Baker Area Citizens Advisory Board meeting, which was held on July 31st, 2019. Travis.
Yeah, just in the backup, I put together a summarized list of what their requests were. I think the only question I have, did the four-wheel drive ambulance make it out there yet?
Nope, it failed inspection yesterday, and we're working on getting it passed. It's still in Elko. I don't know how the agreement exactly is worded, whether MedX is gonna get it up to standard, or we're gonna do it. So, I haven't talked to the district attorney yet about it. We just found out yesterday afternoon late that it failed.
They had an emergency yesterday out at Wells or something, so Bobby couldn't get it until a little bit later, so we just found out later, but they're working on it. So no, they're gonna try to get it out this week still. They relabeled it, or they're working on relabeling it.
Yeah, I think it's relabeled. it just failed the inspection. A couple of minor adjustments to the monitor and just a few other small things that need to be taken care of.
It's on its way.
So we didn't have any serious issues with it, just minor stuff that needs to
It's
be.
just minor stuff, yeah. The monitor's set at paramedic level, and we need somebody with a code to change it and things like that.
Medics repaired the front end suspension, replaced the front tires, and aligned it. Just did all that work, and then they're gonna take it to Baker for us.
And they're gonna switch out with the two.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Wait. Along with the list from Baker, does Brett have a copy of the Ruth and McGill and Lund?
I think we're addressing.
I'm taking care of it,
first, McGill, then Ruth. So,
You'll make sure he gets all that, Ralph?
Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Right now, we're just IT's getting him set up on the computer. As soon as he has email, I will transfer everything I have to him.
Perfect.
yeah, the next three items are right in conjunction. So right now we're on Baker. And any other discussion on Baker, what's happening with the ambulance or anything with Baker? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Motion by Travis,
Second?
second by Lori. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Passed unanimous. Item 8 is discussion for possible action, approval of the fire district chief, finance director, district attorney, and public works director to meet twice a month or more if necessary to streamline and coordinate efforts in getting the outlying volunteer fire department's needs addressed in the most expedient manner possible. Travis.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just put this on, just so, as we transition and stuff, that everyone's on the same page, and, a meeting where things can get checked off and ordered and, coordinated, and I just want the process to streamline, and, they can work it out between themselves when works good for them to meet. I think it's important everyone just gets on the same page and gets this thing streamlined in the same room and get it going.
I'd suggest that on the motion, you include the liaison to the fire district, which would be Lori Carson, and then we at least propose to do it following the commission meeting. You just hold a meeting, because that's twice a month, and it's already scheduled, we're already blocked out. We just go in and have our little coordination effort.
Okay, so I move to proceed as written with the addition of the fire district liaison and the meetings to take place after the commission meeting on a twice a month basis.
Okay. Anybody got a question on that? I'll ask for a motion to approve. Who made the motion? Can I get a second? Shane made the second. Motion by Travis, second by Shane. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passed none. Okay, we'll move on to page 3, item 9. Discussion for possible action. Approval to give direction on how to proceed with the capital improvement project in the Gill Fire Building. The ADA restrooms with a rough estimate of costs. Bill Calderwood, Public Works Director. Bill?
Morning, we met with Ralph, we went over to McGill, looked at the project. What you have as your backup material is just a rough estimate of cost. For budgeting purpose, I would say if it went out to bid, it would be cheaper. guess probably the next thing that I think we should probably do is maybe look to get an engineer or something on board, perhaps do an RFQ, so we can select an engineer, because there's gonna be multiple projects under the fire district.
Can we use one engineer for all the projects, or do we have to separate each?
Well, at this cost, when we throw it out to bid, I mean,
Pretty big.
it's gonna be a big project. But $300,000.
I'd be surprised if we didn't bid. I bet that, let's bet that price is not that far off. That one doesn't surprise me.
So-
Really?
Even if we put out the bid and we only have the $300,000 for the whole fiscal year for all the departments, might have to break these projects down into sub-projects and just, I don't know.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend that we go ahead and we get an engineer on board so that we can get the documents together that we need, because we can afford the engineer within this fiscal year and then budget in next fiscal year accordingly in order to bid these projects out and get the construction done, and that way we can go ahead and budget appropriately for the need. It will also probably provide us with more accurate estimates in what we need.
Yeah, and you're not gonna get, especially for the paving, one for Ruth, the next agenda item, I don't know if we should have both kind of open at the same time. They are kind of the same.
Would
but-
you use the same engineer for both projects?
I guess that would be, I mean, when I thinking about an engineer, I believe within the next few months, possibly, maybe Elizabeth could provide some information, that we should have some release of some